Hi garden friends, Debbie here, updating you on my cut flower garden. And I've been updating you on all my gardens the last couple of weeks, and this will be on the cut flower garden that I'm growing for Cockadoodle Farms. Last year I grew on a farm and I grew for myself, and I did a couple of farmers markets. It really wasn't my thing. I ended up talking to Mary Kate from Cockadoodle, and she asked me if I wanted to grow flowers for her this year. I had already started purchasing my flowers, my seeds, and my dahlias for the next year for myself, but she decided to pay for all of those, and I grew this year on her farm. So we have 3 rows of dahlias, 1 row of cool flowers, and we had 1 row of lisianthus. We had a row of cosmos, zinnias, sunflowers, and then I did a half a row of the Floret originals. I did have a row of asters and pumpkins, and those did not do well at all. It was partly, again, user error because I was gone on vacation for 3 weeks, so it didn't get a lot of water, and I didn't stay on top of the weeding. So it had very tall grasses that became overgrown, and then the plant didn't get any sunlight. I did weed about a quarter of them, and it just looks horrible even after I weeded those. So we're just gonna call that a fail, and we're just gonna let it go and cut down that row. So this year was more like what you would say is a practice year, just seeing what people might buy from their farm. And then we recently talked about the things that she really liked, the color palettes that she likes. So we're going to be purchasing things for next year. We're just going to be focusing on some more lisianthus, those do well, more snapdragons, and we're going to be doing, of course, zinnias, cosmos, sunflowers, and I'm hoping to get the seeds from the Floret originals and get more of those because they're absolutely beautiful. We also decided on getting more green filler plants like blue plurum and the bells of Ireland, maybe some more grasses. I know I planted some grasses this year, but I can't tell the regular grasses from the grasses that I grew there. So I think we're just going to focus maybe on dill because that's a good greenery. The yellow flowers kind of give it some texture. So I'll be looking at what plants might be good for a filler. If you know of any good plants that would be great fillers, please leave it in the comments below. We're going to also expand her wildflower / native area. She has one area on one side of the street. She's going to till up the other side and put more natives and more perennials like more coneflowers. Rebecca, I told her, that really does well. So we're going to be expanding those for cut flowers. We will not be purchasing more dahlias. We have 3 rows, and honestly this year, again, they didn't grow as tall as I had them in my own yard and last year at the other cut flower garden. So I'm not sure what that's about. I did fertilize them. I put all the same amendments in. Just not sure what's happening with those, but maybe next year we'll have a better year. So we're just gonna dig up the tubers this year, and then we will plant those again next year, and hopefully they'll do better. I did also cut back the stalks that I talked about last week. So when you get dahlias, you're gonna get the first flower stalk is gonna be really thick, and that is not good for a cut flower because those stalks are hollow and they're just not a good cut flower. They're just really bulky. So if you cut those back, you will get side branches with more blooms. So that's what I did. I cut back all of the dahlias stalks, and I'm just waiting for that second flush. So maybe we'll still get a good flush for fall, which would be really nice. The sunflowers, however, I did do 2 different successions. I did the yellow for early summer, and then I did some white ones. And those are all done. We were going to do another one in July when I came back, but their tractor had broken. So we won't have any more sunflowers for the rest of the year, which is a good seller for fall. When I came back from my vacation, the zinnias and cosmos were really short. And again, you have to cut those back and they'll flush out taller, and they did. They're great right now. You'll see when I show you the video of how large they are right now. The puppies, however, and the dogs kind of ran through the middle of both of those rows, so the middle was trampled down. So yeah, we're going to have to teach the doggies to stay out of that. I think it was the puppies that did that. The adult dogs don't normally go through the flowers. As far as the cool flowers, we're going to grow more snaps. Like I said, I didn't do very many snapdragons this year. Last year I had so many, and I'm going to go back to having more of those. The lisianthus, we're going to focus on Roseanne browns and pinks. No whites. We're not going to be doing any whites this year. So pinks, the Roseanne Brown series, and probably just that color palette for her. It did work out that I put in wheat block for the cool flowers and the lisianthus. That really worked out because I only had those really stickery weeds that popped through, and the grasses did not come through, so they smothered those really nicely. So she agreed that we should be putting down more wheat block on some of the other rows, but not for the zinnias and the sunflowers. Those are fine. So we will be doing that next year as well. And then she did also ask if I would grow some staple vegetables. So we're going to grow peas and beans and some zucchini and some cucumbers. We're just going to start with those 4 and see how they do at her farmer's market and what she sells on her website. So I'm going to help her grow those next year as well. Next week I hope to have a late summer garden tour. I have a lot more weeding to do. I'm going to try to get to it this weekend before the heat comes back. This week has been a beautiful week in the 70s. Next week it's supposed to get into the high 80s, 90s again. So I want to get out there when it's cool and get to some of those weeds in my own garden. And so I will show you that garden tour next week. Then the following week, things are going to change for this channel. I am going to, first of all, I have grand jury duty starting September 3rd. Not sure what's involved with that. I have been on juries before. I've been a standby juror, but grand jury I've never been on. And I'm reading that it could be once a week for 4 months. I hope not, but I really don't know until I go that first day what will be expected. So again, the videos might be some short videos. I am going to just reevaluate my channel. I'm probably going to do 1 video a month garden tour. I think if you've been following my channel, I did take a class last year to design gardens for people. So I'm going to really focus over this winter getting that going, and so that will be my job next year. So hopefully that will work out, and maybe I'll take some videos. But again, I just don't know where this is going to lead me next year. So here's a little video of the cut flower garden at Cockadoodle. Okay, we are at my cut flower garden, and Sadie's going bonkers right now. She's all wet. But this is the Floret flowers. So we have the zinnias. I cut most of the celosia. The dahlias are just starting to have 1 bloom. So as far as the pumpkins, we're going to call it a bust. She said don't waste any time, so I'm not going to do that. And the sunflowers unfortunately look like they're done. I was hoping we'd get 1 more round of those, but those are done for now. Then we have the next row are my cosmos, which we still have. And here is my zinnias. That actually, here she comes. Here she comes. Okay. And these are doing really well. these are all the zinnias. These are just regular mixes. And then this row right here is my lisianthus that I had in a short video, so I'm going to cut these. There's a few left here. Some whites, some corals, some peaches, some roseanne browns, and some purples. And then in this row we have a couple of snaps that I will be cutting. And these were all the spring ones. Random snap in here, some milkweed throughout. And this is like a Queen Anne's lace mix, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But it was a mix. Straw flowers, status, scabiosa, and I'm going to be cutting back. And then these three rows are the dahlias. We've gotten a few, but they should be starting to come in their own right now. They aren't very tall for cutting yet, so I'm not sure what's going on, but we're trying to get some. There's one way over there. So that's the cut flower garden. We're working on it, and I'll show you what I've cut so far. It's right here. So this is what we've cut so far. So what's your go-to cut flower? Leave it in the comments below and share with the community. And as I said, next week I will be doing my late summer garden tour. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell for any of those future videos. Thanks again for your support. Happy gardening. Bye-bye.